Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope we're all doing very, very well. Welcome back to another stream. It is match day, all caps. And we've got a little bit of transfer news and Chelsea updates as well. So we're going to be previewing the West Ham game, doing our lineup predictor as always, and then we're gonna be speaking about all the latest as well. So I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Less than 4 hours till kickoff. About 3 hours and 15 minutes until Chelsea take on West Ham in the Premier League. It's going to be a good one, guys. It's going to be a very good one. And I'm excited. I'm feeling confident. If you haven't already checked out my preview with Gio from Hammer's Chat, which is a West Ham fan channel, go and check that out. We talk about basically just our perspectives going into the match and Chelsea as a whole. But, yeah, I'm feeling confident, and I feel like anyone who isn't feeling confident, I don't really understand your logic, because logically you should be confident, and then emotionally you should definitely be confident. If this was a game where West Ham, you know, they had their back against the wall. This is what I was talking to like the other day. Honestly, guys. If West Ham had their back up against the wall, they had to get a result or Potter would get fired. They'd gone 5 without a win, 6 without a win, whatever it is. Then, like West Ham fans have told me, they've said, Alex, we just seem to have this ability to be able to pull a result out of nowhere when it seems like all hope is lost. And then I fired the question back and I said, well, you said that you don't have any hope for this game. You're not feeling confident. How many times, and then I said, how long have you been going to follow West Ham? And this was another fan. He said, I've been going for at least 25 years. Okay. So in those 25 years, how many times did you give up in a Premier League campaign in game week 2, thinking that there was no chance that you can win that game? 0 chance. And he said, I can't remember feeling that way. Can't remember it. So then I come back at him and I go, more reason for Chelsea to win. I mean, I feel exceptionally confident. I feel very, very confident. And I almost feel arrogant. You know, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I don't think there's a way you could speak about this game from a Chelsea perspective without being a little bit arrogant. What do we have to show for ourselves? What do West Ham have to show for themselves? Where are we going as a club? Where are they going as a club? One of us is going up and the other one is going down. And when I say down, I mean, it could be quite literally that West Ham get relegated. They will tell you that themselves, especially if they don't sign any more players. I mean, it's been a really weird transfer window for them. Haven't replaced Kudos. Just let Alvarez go to Fenerbahce. It's like, what? It's one of your best midfielders. They got Ward-Prowse, who's not even scoring free kicks anymore. There's not much to be happy about. Although I asked the question, I said, what do you have to be happy about as a West Ham fan? And the answer was Jared Bowen. Full stop. That's it. So keep Bowen out of the game and you're fine. So there you go. Big up to everyone. I hope you're having a good day. We've got about 150 of you on all platforms as it stands. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get up to 30 likes on YouTube straight away. If you're an X, let's get up to 50. Get a few retweets in there as well. Big up, James. Appreciate the retweet. I would start Esteval on the right and Neto on the left against West Ham. We need 3 points. I'm going through on Chelsea. Big up to you, Daniel. You'd play Tosin and Chalobah in the centre-back positions. Andrew says, buzzing for this game. We're going to smash them. Ryan, big up to you. He says, win or lose, we booze. Wagwan, Mr. Alex says, Donna, how are you doing, Donna? It seems like, have you cancelled your membership again, Donna? What's going on? Up, down, up, down. Where is the loyalty? Where is the loyalty, Donna? I believe we will win. I hope our performance is as good as when we won the Club World Cup final. I think it's going to be hard. I think it's going to be difficult to beat that performance, especially if West Ham sit back. But hey, we'll see what happens. I'm sorry I'm late. I was on Mr. Deji's stream. He invited me. Well, it's not good enough, is it, Donna? It's not good enough. But in fairness, you've still got another 55 minutes. I think you've done it. I've seen a lot worse, Donna. I've seen a lot worse. The trip looked good. I think you mean trim, but I appreciate it nonetheless. This is your overseas account. Why do you have multiple accounts on YouTube, Donna? Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into the nitty-gritty. Am I going to the game? Yes. Yes, I am going to the game. As soon as I finish this stream, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave and I'm going to go home. I probably should have done this a bit earlier. I'm cutting it a bit fine. But that's okay. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of match day madness. Nothing I haven't seen before. Trust me, I've had it a lot worse. So, yes, I'm going into this game slightly rushing afterwards, but I thought it's definitely worth is definitely worth doing something. So, you know, let's see what happens. Oh, you meant the trim. Fair enough, Shalav. Big up to Shalav. I hope you're doing well. I have a weird feeling Caicedo's going to score a goal. Nothing weird about that, mate. Goal's a goal. We'll take what we can get. Even better than Caicedo would be Andre Santos scoring after we rejected a bid from West Ham. So that would be fantastic. Right, let's dive into it, shall we? Let's dive into it without further ado. Okay, we're going to go with the transfer news first and all of the news regarding the club there. And then if we want, I don't mind us going into our squad predictions and everything regarding that side of things. Okay, so let's start with this one. We'll start with Simmons and Garnacho. Fabrizio said, I maintain my position. Chelsea want to sign Garnacho and Simmons, but they need to sell. And Nkunku conversations continue, and be attentive to Jackson in the next hours and in the next days as well. So it does look like we are making some progress, but it may seem a little bit slower than you'd think. But in fairness, you know, some of these deals are pretty big deals, 50, 60 million. So understandable why people are taking their time. They want to get it right. So I haven't got an issue with that as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, we know Nicholas Jackson as well. There's a lot of interest for Nicholas Jackson as it stands right now. It does seem like Aston Villa are a team that are pushing a little bit harder than others as it stands, which I'm slightly surprised about because of their financial situation, but it could well be a loan deal. Obviously, we know Newcastle are in there, Bayern Munich are in the conversation. We've heard about AC Milan and some other. I think, was it AC Milan or was it Inter Milan? I'm not really sure how those names come up, but I don't think financially they're going to be competing very well. Hey, there you go. But yes, we had an update from Rahman Osman from The Sun on Nicholas Jackson. He has come out saying Aston Villa are pushing for Nicholas Jackson, among others, but there is nowhere near the figures. They're nowhere near the figures Chelsea are asking. There's also another unnamed big club in talk. So again, like, no surprise seeing in terms of the level of the club. I think it makes sense for Villa. I think, you know, it's a good signing. I think it's a good match for Jackson as well with Unai Emery. But you have to think to yourself, where are Villa going to get this money from? Because I'm sure they're in a bit of a sticky situation financially. Got this big pink bottle. I need a different one. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what happens there with regards to Nicholas Jackson. But I know what you want to talk about. And we might as well get into it. Anselmino and Carney Chukwuemeka. The Dortmund saga continues. And you know what? It's certainly not karma because Dortmund aren't paying anywhere near what we paid for Jamie Gittins. I'd still say we're being ripped off in that sense. But Chelsea are going to potentially be getting rid of two birds with one stone. and we're going to be offloading Chukwuemeka on a permanent deal, which is what we've been trying to do for years, unsuccessfully and against my will, but we are doing it now. And Anselmino getting valuable minutes in Germany, hopefully on a loan deal. This is something that will work for all parties and hopefully be sustainable as well. We know that Dortmund aren't going to do it unless it is sustainable. They're clearly very keen on Chukwuemeka, but it has to add up. The figures have to add up for them. They're certainly not big spenders. But what we're talking about is sell-on clauses, bonuses, incentives. There's a number of things that can make this a more appealing deal for Chelsea, and that's where this all comes in. So again, Fabrizio saying exits are almost guaranteed for Carney Chukwuemeka and Aaron Anselmino. Today could be an important day because Chelsea and Dortmund are in direct contact to close the deal. Carney Chukwuemeka, 17 million plus a sell-on clause. Anselmino, loan, no buy option. So, I mean, the actual flat fee for Chukwuemeka is still pathetic, isn't it? But what I will say is if the sell-on clause is anything like Vega, you'd actually expect it to almost be higher. Then it's fine. I mean, you're looking at 40, 50%. If it's going to be a good deal for Chelsea, the sell-on clause should be no less than 40%. And that's actually a fair deal on both sides. They do plead poverty, don't they? They get, over 80,000 every 2 weeks in plead poverty. They sell their players for a huge fee. I don't think that Dortmund is owned by. I don't think that they're a money-making club. I'm not sure I would say that, though. They have lots of different owners. So, yeah, they have a number of different owners. So it's not just one owner. I'm not really sure. I'd probably have to speak to a Dortmund fan to get a little bit more of an understanding of what their ownership is like. Obviously, we know how they negotiate. They're very much a sustainable club. They're not a club that are going to run into any financial issues. That seems pretty much certain. AC Milan just signed Boniface. Fair enough. How long for Xavi Simons to come? Again, it depends on Nkunku, really. So, we're going to have to see what happens there. He's another João Felix. I think there's more of an argument to say that Xavi Simons is a better player than João Felix. His GA is better. He's more consistent. He has a better record in established leagues like Germany and I think it's just Germany, but he did play in the Netherlands as well. I don't think that I would throw the João Felix tag at him because he hasn't underperformed. And João Felix has underperformed ever since he's left Benfica. So I think the argument would be that Xavi Simons is a much better player than João Felix in my eyes, especially when you look at GA. Okay, and GA is not everything, but it's something. And I don't think we can dispute he's a very talented footballer with a lot of ability as well. So you put all those things together in basically every single category, he's a better player. So there you go. Julio Enciso has completed the second part of his medical in London, Strasbourg this season, and then potentially a future Chelsea player. So big up to Enciso. And hopefully he has a good season at Strasbourg. It's always nice to see players performing there and coming through. Although I have to doubt that he will ever have a significant role to play at Chelsea. I mean, I really doubt that, to be honest with you. But anything can happen. Are we breaking even as far as book profit goes? Feel sorry for him. The injury versus West Ham really set him back. Good luck to the lad. Yeah, we are basically breaking even. I don't think we're losing money, but or if we are, it's very minimal. But we'll see what happens there. It did set him back, though, that injury versus West Ham. It did. Hatter to get minutes. Again, we'll go through the predicted lineup shortly. Bayern are playing Leipzig tonight. Hey, let's see what happens. Okay, without further ado, let's go through the lineup builder. That's what people like to see, isn't it? They like a good lineup builder. Or would you like me to wait a little bit longer? Nah, fuck it. Let's get into it. Why not? Okay, so I'll share my screen with you now. Okay, so in goal, don't think there's going to be any questions there. Robert Sanchez is going to be our goalkeeper. Who are we playing as a left back, people? Who are we playing? I want to see your answers in the chat, whether you're on X or YouTube. Come on, let me know what you're thinking. I personally think that you will see another Nkunku. Sorry, another Cucurella start. But I wouldn't be against Hato starting, or at least if we go 2-0 up or something like that, Hato coming on for Cucurella just to give him a little bit of a rest. Yeah, there is something about games last season against relegation sides where Maresca was very happy to rotate. I'm not sitting here saying West Ham are going to get relegated. But what I am saying is I think there's a very good chance that they will. And I am looking at the business they've done. I'm looking at the outgoings that have made them worse. I'm looking at the togetherness in the club. There isn't much togetherness. The confidence in the manager doesn't seem to be there yet. Certainly needs a lot more time. I think he should get it, but I don't know if he will. And yeah, just everything surrounding it, really. So when you add everything up, West Ham, I think alongside Burnley and Brentford, those would be three teams that I would predict to go down. But I'd say West Ham, the biggest challenges to West Ham to get relegated, at one point I probably would have said Bournemouth, but after watching the Liverpool game, I don't think we're going to have any problems there. But I will say that Leeds with Daniel Farke, that's a situation. Well, West Ham clearly have more quality in their squad than Leeds, but Leeds have a togetherness. They have a great fan base, a supportive fan base. And for that, I think that's going to be the difference in certain games. You look at the home crowd at the London Stadium and you compare that to the home crowd of Elland Road. It's quite significant, the difference, isn't it? So that's what I would say about that. But let me know what you think. Right, Cucurella again. Cuckoo had to come on after 60 or 70 minutes. Don't give me the whole lineup, guys. I only want one position. We haven't gone through the midfield either. We'll go one at a time. Bones gets an injury. They are down. Caicedo must not start. Let's give him some rest. What's happened to Caicedo? Why do we need to rest him in game week 2? What's going on there? Right, we're going Cucurella on the left, people. Don't think there's any question marks there. And then Right, the last game we had Chalobah and Anselmino. Fucking hell, Alex. Do you speak English? Chalobah and Anselmino. Chalobah and I forgot his name. Achimpong. Josh Achimpong. God, I'm not on form today, am I? Keep saying the wrong bloody names. I don't think Achimpong starts. I think Chalobah does. I think that it will probably be Chalobah over here on the right-hand side of defense, which then begs the question, who is going to start on the left? Now, you've got Hato, you've got Tosin, you've got Achimpong. If you really want to think about it, I don't think it will happen, but you've got Fofana potentially. Anselmino is certainly not going to be involved amid all these negotiations with Dortmund, which seem to be finalising. So I'm going to go with Tosin. Big up Fies as well. Trevor Hato, Tosin, Chalobah and Tosin. Daniel thinks Potter will get sacked. Fair. Am I going to the game? Yes, I am. I am going to go with Tosin. He had his best game last season away at West Ham. And what better way to have another clean sheet, another great game today? I don't think there's anything better that we can ask for than a clean sheet and a solid performance with lots of goals. Because that was one area where, honest to God, we really struggled with against Crystal Palace, just that finishing touch, that moment of magic. I think that, honestly, that first goal is going to be so crucial. You want that first goal in the first 20 minutes. Start fast, get the first goal. They open up, the heads drop, and then you just pick them apart after that. Because with a good structure, sitting back, any team is going to be able to challenge us because we struggle breaking down low blocks. Now, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to beat us, but they're going to challenge us in terms of, not letting us score. Yeah. But I don't see this as a game, again, where West Ham have enough quality. Like, I can't believe how rubbish they were. And I didn't watch the whole Sunderland game, but I saw it on Match of the Day. I've spoken to a number of West Ham fans. It's pretty poor, the situation they're in at the moment as a club. Like, again, a lot of West Ham fans who have been pretty positive are not really feeling that at the moment. They're not feeling too great. So it will be very intriguing to see what they can do. Just looking at, they've got Hermansen, the new goalkeeper. They've got Juve, apparently he's all right. Their midfield is poor up top. I think they said against, Callum Wilson came on, and him and full crew came on. They were on together. I think their combined age was almost 70 years old. They're two strikers. It's not a young and upcoming team. They have some serious problems. Okay, right back. Now, this is an interesting one because speaking to some of the West Ham fans that I did, were very aware of the tactics that they like to play under Potter. And just looking at the Sunderland game, they said to me, we really struggle on the flanks. He said we can be very, very compact at times, but then there's so much space out wide. And they said if you're going to overlap, you're going to kill us. That's what they said. You're going to be all over us. So when I make this argument, I'm going to do this a number of times this season, and there is a justification to overlap on that right-hand side, I am absolutely going to go ahead with that. And yeah, I'm gonna try and get Gusto in there, because I don't want Gusto playing and inverting. I want him in there doing what he does best. So I'm going to put Malo Gusto on the right, and I'm telling you now, I want him overlapping. I want him getting involved. That is what I want. And that begs the next question into the midfield, which is where I think there's definitely a debate to be had. If James was fully fit and was able to play games consistently, I would, based on the performance against PSG, actually consider playing him again in the midfield, because I honestly thought he was fantastic. But I don't see that happening when we have the options that we do have. And I do think that Maresca will just go with one of the natural midfielders. I think that we're going to go with Santos, Caicedo, or Enzo. Those are our three main options. So for me, Caicedo goes in there. And then what ends up happening is when Gusto goes up to overlap, he can then cover this space over here. All right. And he can help cover that if need be, which, to be fair, Caicedo does anyway. And yeah, we know what Caicedo does in here. We know what he does. So I don't feel like we need to justify that too much. And then on the left-hand side, are we going with Enzo or are we going with Santos? So I ask you that question now. Me personally, I would go with Santos. I would go with Santos. And here's why. Let's look at the games we played last season against Southampton, against Leicester, and against, who was the other relegation team? Ipswich. Heavy rotation in all of those games, especially off the top of my head in the away games. I can't remember so much the home games, but I'm especially in the away games. Now, I'm not saying this specifically because it's an away game. Again, that's just like a reference. Did Fernandes have a good game against Crystal Palace? No. Should he be heavily criticised for that game? Honestly, no. I don't think he should be heavily criticised. I think that you have to take it with a pinch of salt and accept that, like a lot of these players, he's trying to pick up fitness. He's probably not as ready as Caicedo if we're comparing the two. But then why play him if he's not fully fit, if he's not ready? Why play him? Why risk, not having a stable midfielder in there who can play to the best of his ability? Also then, going back to what I was just saying about last season, the games that we heavily rotated in, with João Felix as an example, Dewsbury Hall, in Nkunku, we saw them playing against the relegation sides. Play Santos, because you can justify it in so many different ways. When is he going to get a chance when he is ahead of Fernandes in the pecking order? And you can make this many points. I could literally make bullet points to sell the idea of Santos starting. First of all, he's probably fitter than Enzo Fernandez. Again, I'm presuming, but Fernandes didn't look great, so we're going to make that presumption. If Santos wasn't ready, I doubt he'd be coming off the bench, right? Second of all, again, you rotated heavily against the bottom teams last season in the Premier League. So why wouldn't you do the same thing? Third of all, West Ham put in a bid of 45 million for him. Nothing better than to see a great performance from a player who's just rejected that club. Bit of extra additional motivation. And fourth, why the hell not? I want to see him play. So not much logic in that one. I want to see Santos play. I want to see it. I haven't got a problem with Enzo. Enzo had a really, really poor start to the season last year. Really poor. Okay. And I was sat there in the Goose arguing with Lewis and Matt. They went, "What? You think he had a bad game?" I went, "Yes, he was rubbish." What? Because he did a couple of nice passes. You think he dominated the midfield? And then he improved, didn't he? He got better after Panathinaikos. So you always give credit where credit's due. But you've got to admit when something's not great. And he wasn't great. Okay? And it's not just because he wasn't great that he should be dropped. It's because he might not be fully fit. And people will then make the argument, but surely this is a better game for Enzo to recoup his fitness for then if you're against a poor West Ham side. But why would you give minutes to a player who's not fully fit? Like, you can get fit training. You don't have to get fit playing in the Premier League. You can go on the treadmill. You can run laps. You can play small-sided games in training. Why do you have to play against West Ham? So I just think you're taking an opportunity away from Santos in a game that, honestly, it wouldn't be a massive risk if you did play him. And I think the sooner you're able to fit these young players into the squad and just make them feel valued, right, then the better. Nobody's saying that Santos has to start every week. Nobody's saying that Enzo should be dropped consistently for Santos. But what we are saying is give the man a chance. We can justify why he should start. And so for that reason, I'm going to go with Santos. Fielder says Santos and Caicedo for me. Josh says Santos. David says Enzo. Sean says get Sanchez out the lineup. Santos for Daniel. Enzo for Shane. Santos will be Enzo, but should be Santos. To be honest, I can see that happening, Danica. I'm with you on that. Santos. Enzo still isn't up to speed. Santos is ready. Salman says, as a West Ham fan, congratulations on the 3 points, Chelsea fans in advance. You will hammer us 4-0 tonight. Well done on the pun as well, mate. We will hammer you. Yeah, I do feel for you, West Ham fans. I do feel for you. Your club is, it's not great. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. But I mean, how happy will you be as a West Ham fan if you can get a point, 3 points against us in this situation? I mean, that'd be great, right? From your perspective. So there you go. Santos is going in my midfield. Okay. Then in the 10, I don't think there's going to be any complaints about this one. Cole Palmer, he is getting slotted in. But the next 3 positions, I think there is a good debate to be had when we talk about the striker and the 2 wing positions out wide. Looking at Esteval, very, very flashy when he come on, looked good, looked like the ball was stuck to his feet at times. I got a text as well the day after the game by a friend of mine called Michael, who sits in the same row as me at Matthew Harding, and he said to me, he said, morning, Alex, I haven't, that Esteval kid is the real deal. I haven't seen a debut that exciting or a player that gets the crowd that excited since Eden Hazard in 2012. That is what he said to me. So I didn't have a season ticket in 2012, but obviously I was still watching the games on the telly. I think that is an incredible comparison. And I think it's a fair comparison in a lot of ways, because when we signed Eden Hazard, he was, again, one of the most sort of wanted young talent in the world, and we managed to get him. And Esteval is no difference in that sense. I suppose the difference with Esteval is we got him a long time before anyone really saw his value, and what some people would think is overpaying, we actually didn't go down that route. So we paid what seemed like a lot at one point, but actually in the grand scheme of things, you could have probably got double the money for Esteval if you were to sell him at this summer, at least double your money, maybe even more, based on the age, the potential. I mean, he's an exciting young Brazilian player. What is not to love about a player like Esteval in this squad? And I will say this as well. When I was at the Crystal Palace game the other day, I remember when Esteval came on, Reece James was having a word with him, and he said, he was really trying to explain things to him, but Esteval doesn't speak English. So how do you communicate? And that's where João Pedro came in. And João Pedro, Reece James said to João Pedro, he said, come over here, Esteval, come over here. And then literally you could see him talking to Esteval, and then João Pedro relaying that information. I kept seeing these hand signals by Reece James, and it was like, bang. I was like, bloody hell, Reece, what are you telling the guy to do? But no, it was good to see a nice bit of leadership as well from the captain. And I think that ultimately Esteval looks like he's settled in pretty well. He seems pretty comfy, but you need to learn English, my friend. You need to learn English, because if the lap's on the field, then I'm not sure who's going to be translating the Brazilian. Probably Santos if he's on the pitch, but he might not be on there either. So I suppose in Brazil they speak Portuguese, right? So if Neto's on the pitch, he could translate, but then Esteval might be in Neto's position. So yeah, you're fucked. You get sign language. Just have to, kick ball into the net. There you go. I don't know. I don't think there's any other Spanish, Portuguese speakers in the squad. Cucurella Spanish, Tosin, Chalobah, Palmer obviously English, Gusto French, Sanchez Spanish, Caicedo Spanish, Gittins English, Delap English. Does Esteval speak Spanish? Not sure about that one. I think it's Portuguese in Brazil. Unless you can speak 2 languages, then fair play. You're gonna have to learn a third, as far as I'm concerned. Argentinians and Brazilians talk to each other all the time. Enzo can speak to them in Spanish. Fair. Oh, this is an interesting one. I'd start João Pedro on the left, Neto on the right, and Delap in the 9. Hands up if you agree on that one, guys. Let me know if you agree with that one, because I think that's a pretty interesting take there. Because we haven't seen João Pedro playing on the left yet. We haven't seen that, and we haven't seen João Pedro playing alongside Delap either. I mean, Maresca was asked about that in his conference yesterday. I mean, again, let's just go with what I actually think Maresca is going to do, right? What I really believe he'll do. This is what I believe he will do. I believe he's going to go João Pedro. I believe he's going to go Neto. I believe he's going to go Gittins. And then I also believe that he's going to go Enzo. That's what I think he'll do. That's my opinion. What I want is a different matter. Okay. I want Santos in there. I'm actually quite open to the idea of João Pedro playing on the left. But the problem with João Pedro playing on the left is then if Esteval starts on the right, you don't see Neto on that. And I don't think that Neto deserves to be dropped. I don't think he deserves to be dropped. So would I start Neto ahead of Gittins based on? Well, I don't think you can compare it on one game, but when I talk about Neto, the reason that he deserves to start is not because of one game; it's because of a whole list of games. Neto's been fantastic. He's been really, really good. He was our best player in the Club World Cup, and I just think it's a bit disrespectful to basically brush him off because we've got Esteval and he's an exciting player who dribbles well. It's like, hang on a second, guys. Can we not appreciate what Neto's done in a Chelsea shirt? Can we not give him a little bit of credit? I think he certainly deserves that. I mean, let's look at what he did last season. People criticize him for lack of GA, but he's a player that's had serious injury issues. And that was my main concern is the guy going to stay fit? And he ends up, having a pretty fantastic campaign in terms of the games he's played. He was involved in 51 games last season, including the Club World Cup. That's very impressive. Played over 3,300 minutes. And then if you look at his record in the Club World Cup, it was good. I think that Neto was our best player in that competition. Played a lot of minutes, didn't play against Esperance, but scored against LAFC, scored against Flamengo, scored against Benfica, was very, very good against Palmeiras, and was exceptional in all the games I saw. I mean, I can't really look at the guy and say that he had bad games there. So yeah, I am not passing up on Neto. I think Neto deserves a little bit more respect on his name, and I don't think that after one game you can just drop him because you had an exciting cameo off the bench from Esteval. There's no doubt in my mind that Esteval is a better footballer than Neto. Naturally, he's a better player. He's more skillful. He's more talented. Probably has a higher ceiling and higher value as well, right? Probably more commercially viable as well. Everything that you want to look at, Esteval has. He's left-footed, just like Neto as well. He can take set pieces. He's got a good ball on him. He can score goals. I don't see many things that Esteval can do. That Neto can do, and say Esteval isn't as good as that. But I will say this: Neto, from a leadership perspective and from a work rate perspective, I think those are two things he has on Esteval at this moment in time. Like, we can't really judge his work ethic, but I don't think you can judge a player's work ethic on one game. I don't think you can judge it on 10 games. I think really you have to look at that over a season, over a number of years. And that's how you judge players, isn't it? Because, you want to see that consistency. So I look at Neto as a player who never really lets us down. And if he plays poorly in the game, then fine, you make the substitution. But yeah, I'm actually very open to seeing João Pedro in there as well. But, I'm going to make the same argument, which a lot of people won't like. I am going to make the same argument for Jamie Gittins, even though I have to admit, I was a fan of the signing. I think that he fits, the profile is good in terms of the way he plays. We're not talking about quality, just playing style. But again, if you're playing against West Ham, a team that aren't playing very well, a team that aren't confident, there's not much togetherness within the fan base. And these are the games where actually players like Gittins might really thrive. And if he's not able to perform against West Ham, then you can look at the coming games against Fulham and Brentford and Man United, and you can go, well, maybe he's not going to be ready for those ones. But, you can never write a player off after one game. If we're going to go a step further, you can't write a player off after a season. Otherwise, Cucurella wouldn't be starting in this match. So let's have a little bit of patience with Gittins, and let's try and be realistic and use our heads a little bit. Use our heads. Let's not be too reactionary here. That's one thing this season I'm going to try and really hone in on, because last season I feel like I got this reputation as this very grumpy Chelsea fan who always complained. But anyone who's watched me, and I've been doing this for 4 years, but I've been involved in sort of the space, not necessarily YouTube, for like 7, 8. And I've always been positive, man. I've always been the positive one. So I don't want to be positive for the sake of it. I want to obviously have something that I can talk about and go, yeah, that's actually good. I just didn't see it as much last season, but I do see it now. I do see it. I see it, and we see justification that there are a number of things that we believed wouldn't work, and now they are working, or they have worked, because we picked up 2 trophies and we're in the Champions League this season. So I'm going to go off of that as my baseline. But yes, I'm going to start Neto over Esteval, and I'm going to start Gittins instead of having João Pedro on the left and then Delap up front. But again, very open to the idea, if Gittins isn't playing well and we need to get a win, of taking him off, potentially putting Neto on the left side, and then we can put Esteval on the right. Furthermore, if we're struggling again, you can put the lap on, get a little bit more of an aerial threat. And I want to see Palmer as well. I want to see him operating in the spaces. One thing that really pissed me off last season was, I didn't feel like Palmer was getting in goal scoring positions enough in spaces where he could have a crack. I felt like he's always heavily marked. And one justification of having Esteval on the pitch is that you then have, let's just imagine that Neto and Delap are defenders, right? You have 2 defenders on him here, and then let's just imagine we've got another defender here. So let's just say it's a back 4. You got 2 defenders here, and then that gives Palmer a lot more space. Whereas when Delap's on the field, you've then got, again, you've got to use your imagination a little bit. And sorry, when Neto's on the field, you have, fuck's sake, I've confused myself here. I need opposition players. There's no way I can do that on here, is there? No. Let's just imagine these four here, Caicedo, Santos, Delap, and Chalobah are defenders. You know, and then you'll have an opposition, you know, you'll have a midfielder there probably trying to cover Palmer. Let's just say it's Ward-Prowse or something like that. Then, you know, he's got people on him from all sides. So there's no space for him to operate. So I would like to see Palmer having a little bit more space to operate. I do believe that this system doesn't suit him in that sense. What you will see is Palmer will still get involved in a lot of goals. I don't dispute that, guys. I think that Palmer will still be heavily involved. But I think he's going to, under Maresca, he's a creator. He's not a goal scorer. He's a creator. And under Poch, he was a match winner. So this system is less reliant on relying on one individual and more reliant on the team playing well as a collective. So again, we had 35, 40 goals from Palmer in one season. Can we now get 10, 15 from all of those, that front line? So that's how you recoup the same amount. But you're then relying on players who may not perform. And even if you've got one of those players who isn't doing what they need to do, it affects the whole team, right? Because Palmer doesn't have the freedom to operate out wide and sort of stay out of the spotlight of the defenders. He can't find that free space there. And then if you've got wingers that aren't progressing, you're sort of in a bit of a limbo, aren't you? Because you've got the same problem again and again. Hopefully that isn't an issue. But there you go. I think there might be a chance that we could see Neta moving over to the left. But yes, again, my predicted lineup, just to finish it off, I've gone on a little bit. I am going with this one. This is going to be my predicted lineup. And if it's predicted, I'm honestly going to predict that James starts as well. But I would like Gusto to start. So what would I change? I would change James for Gusto. I would change Fernandez for Santos. I'd probably keep Gittins and Neto. I'd keep them. And I'd make an early change in the second half if it wasn't working. I'd take Gittins off. I'd put Neto on the left. I'd bring Estevao on. If João Pedro wasn't performing, I'd bring Delap on. And if we were doing well, I'd take Cucurella off and I'd bring on Hato, give him some minutes there. I might even bring Gusto on for James as well if we're winning comfortably. So is that 5 substitutions? That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. When we talk about the slow pedestrian play, guys, when there is 11 men behind the ball, it's really difficult. I don't have an issue with us winning a game ugly. What I don't like is when it looks like you've seen the same thing for months and months and months, and then we still keep making the same mistakes. That's what pisses me off more than anything. So it's not about it being slow or anything. It's just about trying to be effective, trying to be just like, if you're going to win ugly, win. If you're going to lose ugly, then you got a problem, right? So style of play is, I want to be entertained as a match going fan. No, I'm with you on that, Gabriel. You want to be entertained. Of course you do. I am going to the match as soon as this stream finishes. That's correct. You've got the lineup with João Pedro ghosting into the striker spot from left wing. Hey, I'm open to it. The only reason I'm putting Gittins in there is because, again, these are the games where players that are new and need to bed themselves in, this is where they're going to have the best chance to thrive because they're against a struggling side. So give him the opportunity to prove himself in that sense and then go from there. Fernandez, I think, is different. I think that's a fitness issue, right? And I think that you can justify Santos going in because the quality isn't that far apart. based on what we saw last season from Andre Santos. You know, he's again one of the best, statistically one of the best midfielders in Europe. Definitely the best midfielder and one of the best midfielders in France. He was up there. How far is it from the London Stadium to Stamford Bridge? It's not that close. They're the opposite sides of London. Stamford Bridge is West London, and the London Stadium is East London as well. Listen, really appreciate everyone that's on. We have another 10 minutes to go in the show, so big up to all of you. We've got under just about 600 of you on all platforms, 470 on X, 125 on YouTube. If you haven't already smashed that like button, please do subscribe to the channel. It all helps. It makes a massive difference. It just shows that you are enjoying the content. It also it's a little bit of motivation. There you go. I think we've only got 34 likes on YouTube, and we have almost 134 of you. So 100 people have not liked the video. Come on, people. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. You know what always pisses me off when I watch live streams? It does annoy me when people keep saying subscribe and all the rest of it, but I kind of understand why they do it now. Because if you don't say it, I think people just forget. But listen, I appreciate everyone watching regardless. Let's get up to at least 75 on YouTube. I mean, by the time we finish, we should be on 100 really. But come on, let's go. Right, let's go for a couple more cues. I think that's a pretty good lineup, guys. So, I mean, let me know if you disagree with anything I've said there. Any away pubs tonight that I know of? I won't be going to a pub, so no recommendations for you. Neto left, Esteval right. I've heard that one a lot. Palmer and Enzo shouldn't play if we are judging Gittins on one game. Well, again, I've just told you that I would start Gittins. So it's not. I think if it was a bigger game, maybe we have a different conversation. But because it's West Ham, I can justify. Why. Yeah, I think I can justify why he's going to play, because if we played all these players last season against relegation sides, I'm not saying that West Ham are going down. I'm not saying that, but I am saying there's a good chance they will. Okay. Yeah. Where has Matt Dav gone? Well, if he hasn't told you, then probably not my place to say. Probably not my place to say. Esteval has to start over Gittins. He was pants last match. He's not ready to be a starter. You can't judge a player on one game. I've got to repeat that. You cannot judge a player over one game. By the way, I'm in agreement that Gittins isn't good enough at the moment. I'm in agreement with you. But again, me being open-minded says he needs a couple of months before I can really judge him. I can't judge a player in weeks. I cannot judge a player in a few games. I need months properly to judge someone. Yeah. It's like when you go to work, you get a new job and you think, oh, my co-workers are really nice. And then you realize they're all pricks after you've worked there for 6 months. You see the real side of them. 3 o'clock on a Thursday. What's going on, Keith? What's going on? Don't know why I said Keith. I never worked with a Keith personally. Hopefully Joey doesn't steal a drink this time. I don't even know if Joey's going. Original Jamaican here, I believe. Chelsea have a lot of options to go forward. We do. We absolutely do. Big up to you as well, my friend. Good to see you on the stream. We have plenty of options. It's just which option is actually going to be best to win this match. I'm trying to balance it out, not just short term, but slightly longer term as well. So I'll share my screen again. When I speak about Gittins starting in this game, when I speak about Santos starting in this game, when I speak about all of these guys, it's not just short term. You have to think a little bit further than that as well. And I do think that Gittins is a player that you need to embed into the squad. If you drop him from game week 1 and then he doesn't play for a number of weeks, then that's not going to do him much good in terms of his confidence. Give the guy an opportunity and it will either work or it won't. But you need much more time to be able to judge a player. Josh deserves another start. Again, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But we're going to have to rotate heavily. I certainly don't think he has the right to start over Tosin. I would give Tosin that. I would give Tosin that confidence straight away. So no, I wouldn't start Achimpong. But then we can have another conversation when we start having to rotate again, and we're going to have obviously European games that are going to come out at the end of this month. And we're also going to be having domestic cup matches later on as well. So I think Achimpong's going to have a big part to play. Will the nickname Steve stick? Sorry? Steve who? Who's the nickname for? What, for Josh Achimpong? Oh, what? Because it's a hard name to pronounce. It's not that hard. Achimpong. Come on, guys. It's not that bad. Asugo or Santos should start ahead of Enzo. Hato should start left centre back. Chalobah kind of kills our build up because he's not comfortable there. I think Chalobah's brilliant, mate. I know he's not the best at passing out, but I don't think he's a liability. Bournemouth made a bid of 22 million quid for Axel Disasi. Where was that one, Rock? Oh, juicy. Very juicy. Wow. Okay, that's Aaron Romero. Very interesting. Oh, Estevao is Steve. Fucking hell. Really? Oh, well, yeah, just call him Steve then. That's easier. Exclusive. Bournemouth have tabled a £22 million bid for Chelsea defender Axel Disasi. Chelsea are carefully assessing the offer as negotiations intensify. Decisive hours ahead as Bournemouth await a breakthrough. So this is the second defender that apparently Bournemouth have been interested in. Josh Achimpong was another one of those defenders. What I will say is that Chelsea had no interest, no intention of getting rid of Josh Achimpong, so those sort of permanent offers were brushed aside, although we were open to a loan. I now don't think that will happen because it seems like Achimpong actually has a part to play in this squad, but we'll have to see what happens there. I don't know if this is an offer that Chelsea will accept. I mean, we paid quite a bit more than that for Disasi. That's fine. To Chelsea. 35 million. Yeah. I don't think we accept it, guys. I'll be honest. I don't think we accept it. I don't see a world where Chelsea lose money on a player like Disasi. Most likely they'll loan him out again for another 2 years if they need to, and then sell him for the amount Bournemouth are bidding. I mean, I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract, but if he went on loan for another 2 years, we'll probably still have 2 years left, at least. You can get 20 million for him then if he has a successful loan spell, and you would have got at least 10, 12 million over 2 years. Add the Aston Villa loan spell as well, which is about, what, 4 or 5 million. So I don't think that... Yeah. Is his book value 10 to 15 million? How much? Well, okay, fair enough. How much do I value Disasi? I would value him about 25 mil, maybe 30. But I don't think he fits what we're doing, so he's not really that valuable. But yeah, that's my opinion on that. Listen, guys, my match day prediction for today is 4-0. 4-0 to Chelsea. 4-0 to Chelsea. I think we're going to absolutely smash West Ham. I think it's going to be an easy dub, to be honest with you. That's not me being arrogant. That's just, I feel confident. I feel good. I hope you do as well. We should be feeling very confident. If you haven't smashed that like button, we've got almost 150 of you on YouTube. We've got to get up to at least 100, guys. Come on, people. Especially if you think we're going to win. If we're going to win, smash the like button. Have a bit of optimism, for crying out loud. I'm probably going to be late for kickoff because of this stream, but I'm happy to do it. I enjoy doing it. I'm happy to do it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm off to Stratford. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening. Up the Chelsea. Get the result, boys. And a clean sheet as well. Let's have it.